Hello, everyone. Patriot 5 here. Monday night, nothing's happening. Or is it? I don't even know anymore, but um, I just know it's Monday. I had a weekend. I'll discuss it with you in a little bit. I'm gonna play the music and do the pledge, and then we'll come back and talk about some things. We got Jeffrey and Robert. Good to see you both. Orphan Annie, John Holiday, Janet. Guys, I can't read it, so I'll let Ron tell me who's here if he sees anybody. I like it when I use my phone because I can see you guys and I can talk to you. But when I'm using this tablet here, this computer here, I cannot see. So that being said, let's say the pledge and do the music. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I thank my lucky star. See the biggest fix of the weekend? What? The biggest fix of the weekend, have you seen that? The one team, the one team was saved by, by 7.5, 33, they did upside team, and on a play where they said a guy was in motion, nobody was moving. They said both guys were moving at once, and they weren't flying. They came out and pitched a field goal. They came out and pitched a field goal at the buzzer. At the buzzer. What could the field goal be? That one right there. That one right there is great. Yes. We can I thought I enjoyed watching, working and watching. As you get wired up. Yes, I got excited. I just, fancy. So, well, I can, business relations. Well, now, the business was off the radio. It's not the principle, it's not getting my second for section meetings. I mean, today, I like, there's all some Jesus, she's, I believe me here, she was, I'm talking to you guys. I wanted it 4 times today. God bless America. Yes, we all will be free. Yes. But Super Jimmy, how was your weekend? I'd be willing to bet you every child here had a better weekend than me and Ron. Maybe Ron to the extent, maybe not, but me, let me kids, let me tell you my no, I'm not gonna tell you my weekend. Let's just put it this way. I'll tell it in the grown-up section. So if you want to know what my weekend was, how bad it was, you're gonna have to come around. You're going to have to just come and see what I went through. So, Jimmy, are you getting excited with Christmas? You and your two sisters and your brother with your dad and grandpa? You know, was
Probably not.
and mommy will always be there in spirit. We know that. Patriot 11. How about you? Maybe grandma's going to buy you a new horse for Christmas. Who knows? I mean, stranger things has happened, but I'm still waiting to hear the story about the big horse that they got in the summer. She was telling me that you was coming over to ride it, but then I never did get a story on you and uh the results of everything. Patriot Wyatt Earp and Patriot Karate Kid. I hope you kids are just enjoying. I mean, now, guys, things are supposed to be great for all kids. You're anticipating what you're going to get for Christmas, and you know, um, it's just supposed to be great. Patriot Hunter and Patriot Princess, our queen. I seen them in a picture on Facebook with I'm going to call it Facebook when them kids are involved because I really care for them kids as I do all of the kids here. But I seen a picture of them and they was with great grandma, and I'm telling you, I see where Jana gets all her looks now. you know. And now, Janet, I was sober when I said it. Not Janet.
Janet.
Huh? Jana. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I had a rough weekend, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. Patriots, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie are four B's, and you're growing like weeds. Just slow down. Smell the water. Smell the oceans. Look at the moon. The moon's supposed to be really big this week, bigger than normal, but then whenever something like that happens in our area, we always get clouds. Patriot, Little Leona, and Little Leilon. Little Leona, I bet it's good to have grandma back concentrating on you. I can't believe she moved away. I really can't. But she'll always be there for you. She's a heck of a kid. Sorry about that. Um, that was for Patriot Leilon. Patriot Leona, you're just growing way too fast, as all kids do. They can't wait to be adults, and then when they get to be adults, they want to be kids. That's why I think I stayed a kid my whole life. Anyway, that's what my ex-wife used to tell me. But Patriot super gymnast, how did volleyball practice go tonight? She decided to go out for volleyball. She said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, when you decided you wanted to go into gymnastics, my exact words to your mom was, why?" The girl didn't have no coordination, but I'm telling you guys, there's no one I've ever seen work harder. Oh, maybe the superstars, Simone Biles and people like that, because they're doing it for a living. But someone who just loves gymnastics, I've never seen anybody yet. At little Kira's third birthday party last Saturday. Her birthday is actually this Saturday, but they couldn't rent the Legion then. And, Myrna, if you're on, that's where we had Kira's party. But she was literally doing gymnastics there. And the things that she can do now, she says, Papa, watch this. And I watch and I go, I mean, I was just totally amazed. But now she's going to try a new thing. She's going to try volleyball. And my daughter looked at me and said, Dad, I don't know how she's going to be.
Talk. I thought you were talking about.
I'm talking about super gymnast, Ella.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Karen.
Who?
Karen.
No, Kira's her party was Saturday. Her birthday is this coming Saturday. Ron was asking me who I was talking about. But I was using Kira birthday party as an example of Ella doing gymnastics there. But going back to her volleyball, it's a situation where she said, "How do you think y'all do?" And I said, "In my mind, there's nothing you can't do. Anything you set your mind to, you're a straight A student. You're on the dean's list. as a fifth grader, you was a star in fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade play. I said, you can do anything you want to do. And she just smiled like, wow. Now, here's my thing is, you know how I am with Patriot 7. I worked with him with his kicking in football because I used to like to kick the football. But I also worked a lot with him in baseball and helped him out a lot in baseball. What I don't understand is Ella's just getting involved in volleyball. Why they haven't been practicing it? Because I'm not gonna say this because I'm proud, but my ex-wife is probably one of the top, I'd say 3 to 5 players that ever played at Herscher High School. She had a tremendous serve, and she was very good at the whole game. Where my daughter Amber, as much as my ex-wife had a great serve, she can't brag about it because never did she do what my daughter Amber did, and that dude, and that was serve 21 straight points, and had the coach of the other team come over and said, "Can you give us a chance and not let her start out serving? Because whoever ends the first game serving is supposed to start out off." And they granted the wish, but it's 21 straight points. She was very good, but she didn't play junior and senior year, even after she played varsity as a sophomore, even after she was voted the best sophomore player on the squad. She did not play junior year because that's when they were starting to go to the really dad don't like type of shorts. They're more for the boys in the crowd or the pervert men in the crowds than they are for little girls. And we had a coach, and I helped get hired, and then I regretted it because he was one of those that wanted these shorts on these girls. And my daughter looked and said, "I won't wear them," and he cut her. Now I could have went and complained it. How do you cut someone that was the best incoming sophomore in the class? But she looked at me and she said, "Dad, don't worry about it. I don't want to play for him anyway. He's not the type of person I want to play for." And right after that, it was only a month after she got more or less her first ever boyfriend she ever got because she didn't wasn't interested in dating, but now she's not playing volleyball, and all of a sudden she took the interest in it, and she married that man 11 years to the day after they went on their first date. Now they have 3 kids. But I told that story because the way volleyball runs in my daughter and my ex-wife blood, they should be working with her. But yet they had a chance this weekend to get out and work with her. They don't. Me, I don't care if it's snow on the ground. I'll go out and play catch with Liam. And as I already talked about Liam working with him, and then small Hank, we locked him in a closet the other day at the party. He was trying to hide, and we seen him go in the closet and we locked it. Actually, we didn't lock it. We stood in front of the door where he couldn't get out, but it acted like it was locked, and he's in there. So son Patriot 7 looked at me and told me to go back in the area where the party was, and he come to the acting like he come running the door, and he goes, Jason, are you okay? They become best buddies the rest of the day, even though it was me and Patriot 7 that locked him in the closet. And then their little monkey, she couldn't go to the party the other day. I'll get into a little bit more of her when I do the adult version when I tell you my weekend. But she didn't go. She got sick on Friday, and I had to go pick her up. And me and her got some snuggle time. Well, you guys seen her. For those who've seen the Friday video, she was on it. You guys know I was there, so you know a little bit about my weekend. But we got better. It got really, really, really better. And then Patriot little Kira I already talked about her birthday party on Saturday. Her birthday is this coming Saturday, the 13th. And guys, remember on Wednesday night when we do our show, it's Patriot Six's birthday. Let's light it up with happy birthday wishes for him that night. So that pretty much concludes the kids tonight version, and we're gonna move on because number one, I'm hungry and I need to eat afterwards. But my weekend, you guys all know about having, huh? Oh, this video is not made for kids. You can watch it under the discrepancy of your parents, legal guardians, or grandparents. The video we played tonight with the music is for entertainment purposes only. We have no legal rights to it. Um, so you guys know a little bit about my Friday when I went to pick Addison up, little monkey up at school. Nurse looked at me and said, she just vomited. She just threw up. And I said, okay, I'll take her home. But I give her medicine. I said, okay. We're walking to the car and I'm opening the door for her. And I said, what do you want to do? She says, I want to go to McDonald's. I know. I want to go to Dairy Queen for the cheeseburger meal and the ice cream. I said, okay, we'll get it, but we got to take it back to your house. Well, then my car lost power. And you guys know about that. I had a guy come over who works on cars and he said, your battery. So that night when Amber got home and everything was settled in, she took me up to Walmart. I got a battery and she took it home with her. And I got my son to drive me over there on Saturday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, my car, the battery is not under the hood. It's in the back seat on the passenger side under the floor. Well, see, the people who had my vehicle before me, they put sunroof in the front of the vehicle and in the back. And I like the sunroofs and that, but they didn't evidently they didn't put the stuff around it, the sealant around it good enough. And I noticed whenever we have hard rains or that, it leaks. And the other day when we took the floor apart to get into the battery, yeah, with the ice melting on top of the car, with all the stuff splashing and the car leaking, it was leaking onto my floor under my seat in the driver's side and going back into the back. And then with it being so cold, it froze. I mean, it was about that deep, solid ice. We had to take a hair dryer and clean it up, get it out. We finally got everything done. We got it in. And when I took off, the car ran great. And then when I had to slow down, it lost power again. So this time I said, I'm taking it to a mechanic, getting it checked out. And I also had to have an alternator put in. So $800 later, I finally got my car running. So whoopie doo. I had to set in a garage for 3.5, 4 hours, and it was cold. It had no heat, damp because it's so cold out. It was not a fun day. And just when you think things can't get any worse, I went to Kira's party and I had a good time there. I was able to make it. Came here. And yesterday, we're sitting watching a Bears game, me and Ron, and man, it's getting cold in this house. And he said, yes, it is. His furnace went out. Now, this furnace is only a year old. So I was going to wait around, but I called the place and they did answer it. I thought they'd have an answering service. They passed the message on, but a lady did answer and I told them. And she says, well, they can come tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. The guy's coming from Ashton. He can just swing there before he comes over. By the time I got down here at 7 o'clock to let the guy in, I got down here about 6:30. Ron's house was down to 48 degrees. It was cold. The guy gets here, he walks in, we got a clock right sitting under the TV with the time and the temperature in the house. And he looked and he says, does that work? And I said, yeah. He goes, it's only 48 degrees in there. He says, yeah. He says, didn't you call in yesterday? Yeah, about 5:30, quarter to six. And he said, then why wasn't I out here? She said that you'd come today. And he said, that's what's a matter with this company. And I've never had no trouble with them, but they let a senior citizen veteran sleep in a house that got down to 48 degrees. Fortunately, we did have a couple of space heaters, so we was able to warm it up enough because without the space heaters, he'd woke up this morning probably in the mid to low 30s. So that kind of concludes our weekend. As you can tell, it was, well, no, there was one more thing. As I said, if it can go wrong, it doesn't. I was going to watch the sports news with Ron from 10 to 10:30, which is something we do every Sunday. And all of a sudden, Ron looked in my mom's bedroom because he sits where he can look in there. And he said, Dasher, are you okay? That's my little dog. And I went running when I heard it. And she was in there. She was having one of her seizures. And I've been giving her some medicine. They got some stuff in it that Linda Scullion had told me about. And it's got some other stuff in it to help the joints. She's walking better. And I will say this, that of the 5 or 6 convulsions she's had so far, last night's was by far, because usually once she has it, it takes me almost an hour to get her calmed down. She goes through a shaking spell where I hold her. She goes through a crying spell, and that just tears me up when she starts to cry. But the shaking spell only lasted maybe 6 or 7 minutes. The crying spell was, here's was her cry. Mm, 3 times. So in essence, it really wasn't bad. And then I brought her out and put her on the sofa here behind me, and she laid there with me and laid there. And usually after a little bit, she gets antsy. She gets down. She wants to walk around. She doesn't have her equilibrium, so she's not sure where she's at. She bumps into stuff, and she has no recollection what she's doing. Actually, she just has to move. Last night she didn't, but when it happened at the time it did, 10:30, I thought, oh, I'll be down here till midnight. I might as well spend the night because I got to be back down here by 6:30, quarter to seven. But it must have been around 11 o'clock. It wasn't late at all. She was calmed down. I let her down and she was walking around. I said, well, let's go. I put my coat on. We went out. She had a little trouble going out at first, but once she got to where she seen where she was at, she walked to the car. I got her in the car and we went home. She laid down. I went to bed early last night because I had to be up early. And it was our weekend. It was bad, but you know what? It's in the past, and that's where I'm leaving it. And I think that's what everybody needs to learn is just when something's in the past, leave it in the past. So where are we at? I don't know. Does anybody? I know I'm getting tired of listening to people, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's so many people out there that they're saying this and this and this. And we do have a few things for tonight's show. Not a whole lot. So it's not going to be a real long show, but I wanted to go over some things before I really get into the show. And a while back, I got a strike on TikTok. We posted a video, and the video went like this. What if John Fitzgerald Kennedy is never assassinated? What if Abraham Lincoln was never assassinated? What if these are two of the main clogs of where we're at now, getting ready to get our freedom, getting ready to go to everything that we're going to? What if? What if in the 60s, when Junior Kennedy was 2 years old, what if his dad made a video? And in the video, he said, the hat will be the 45th president of the United States. He will come back to make America great again. What if he said his 2-year-old son would fake his death in the 1990s to come back to be the hat's right hand person? What if Princess Diana faked hers? What if that plane crash on February 3rd, 1959, It happened, or did it? What if Buddy Holly's wife was there with her driver in their brand new Cadillac convertible, and them three great singers, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, got in that car because they were the ones that drew the straws that they got to go? What if they lived a great life undercover? What if they're still alive because of special beds? What if we go back to rock and roll? Remember that? I was talking to Patriot Diane for a little bit today, and I sent her a link of a group on YouTube and Facebook, and I said, follow him. Richie into something. I mean, they're good. They play all of the old stuff. They can do it all. They Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, uh, the one guy did in the group did Big Bopper. Uh, they do the Beach Boys. I mean, they do. I could sit and listen to them all night long. I love that music. But I said, what if they're still alive? What if Mr. Bryant is going to come back? Because what if he didn't get in that? What was it, a helicopter or a plane? What if the truth comes out about 9/11? How is people going to react? What if Michael Jackson is still breakdancing as good as anybody ever has in the world? What if Payne Stewart and his knickers come back to play golf? What if Martin Luther King actually gets to see his dream come true? And I went over and over and over that. And I got a strike. And I thought it was funny because of the things that is said and done on TikTok. But see, TikTok is no different than any other format. If you want to do videos, if you want to do things, if you want to say certain things, you better have a large following where they're paying you so much for advertising, because the the websites, all they want is to sell their advertising. Them little five, you have to watch this for 5 seconds. What if in a certain situation I would have took a company up and doing my videos, I would have had them give me 100 or 200,000 followers? What if them 100 to 200,000 followers would go in and watch my videos every day that I was doing them? Back then I was doing them 7 days a week. And I'm not saying it was this company that would did it. Might, what if it was another company? But what I'm saying is, what if I would have took this? What if I had money that if someone like Papa G, or and I'm just seeing the name, or Janet or anybody over here said, Ralph, we need some help. What if I could give you the help without anything coming out? But see, I made up my mind, and me and Ron discussed it when he became my partner. We're not taking no money for this. And believe me, there's sometimes I think, why didn't I? I wouldn't be like these other guys and not help anybody. It cracks me up. There's a couple sites out there, and they're always asking, hey guys, come together. This person here really needs your help. We need to raise $1,000 for them. And most of the time they do it. The people come through. What if they're lying and the people don't need that money and they're just taking it for this help after running the advertisements and making? I mean, do you realize, guys, there is people doing shows like this, there's people speaking, they have large groups. They're making $1 million a month. There's a guy out there that was one of the main reasons I got started. He used to like to hit people in his profession. And I used to watch him. I used to think the world of him. He was good. Plus, I love sports. So, following someone that's into sports, I really enjoyed that. And then one day he made a statement. Yeah, I'm going to charge. If you want to be part of my group, you're going to pay to get the information. It's just like other places. You have a question, you ask the question. If you're not going to pay and give them a donation, you're not going to get your question answered. I know I was on one of the shows one day and I asked the same question 20 times. It was getting to the point that the people were saying to the guy hosting the show, "Do you see this question Patriot 5 is asking you? Would you answer it?" And he acted like he didn't even hear it because I would not pledge money. I pledged money to one guy for 1 month once, and that was Charlie Ward. I never got nothing out of it. Now, every other day, I'm getting a message. Come back. We miss you. You didn't even, I sent messages. Why can't I get in on the insiders clubs on Wednesday's meeting? Never did. At the end of the month, I took my card out. I said, I'm done. And I just wanted to play the what if game. Does any of you guys got any what ifs? I couldn't read them if you do. But, what if we're about ready to do what they say we're about ready to do? And that excites me because what if it happens? And remember, I keep lecturing and preaching and lecturing and preaching. It only has to happen one time. It doesn't have to happen over, like the song says, over and over and over again. It just has to happen one time. And I base that on the movie The Little Giants, when the nerd brother, the gas station owner, his brother was the big jock, the professional player, had his face on a billboard, wouldn't let these certain kids play, and he took these kids, these misfits, and he convinced them you only have to win one. They may win 99 out of 100, but if you win one, you win their respect. What if the hat goes over to the crane and to Russia and puts an end to this? What if he gets with a group of people, group of leaders all over the world, and they say, okay, you two want to be so stubborn. We want to go to the big N and big G. We want to have world peace. You'll either do it or we'll bring all of our forces from every country in, and then we'll see what you think. But see, I don't ever want to see it go to that because it's the people. It's the people who pay. It's not the leaders. What if the hat gets this stuff in there where when you're a senator, a governor, a mayor, whatever you are, you can't go over 8 years. And then you get a pension, a little pension. I mean, my goodness, there's people that's been in politics so many years. They got 40, $50 million making 60, $70,000 a year. What if we unravel how they got it? And now all of a sudden that money starts flowing back to us. So enough of the what ifs. So we have a few things here. Tier 4B events in the last 12 hours alone, all timestamp locked on Master Wall. 341,000 redemptions already completed worldwide since midnight. Average walk out liquidity 9 figures in gold backed digital certificates. 1-to-1 assets backed parity locked forever. Final 19 DUMBS, including Denver DULCE and Antarctica Nexus, went permanently dark at 23 hours 44 minutes. Zulu, zero life signs, zero escapes. Signature Cabal bloodline aviators terminated are in quantum custody. Saint Germain World Trust released the legendary infinity tranche of 00.00 Zula Sharp. Now remember, that trust fund, there was a 1, and I thought I heard a 5 and 24 zeros behind it. Zero escape signatures, Cabal bloodline aviators terminated or in quantum custody. Saint Germain World Trust released the legendary infinity They put that in there twice. No, maybe I read it twice. Okay. Every humanitarian wallet on earth just received an irreversible 9-figure starter balance. Wow. Special bed civilian rollout jumped from 8,000 units to 144,000 units overnight. Space Force carriers are landing on hospital roofs right now. All sovereign rate screens flipped to single word at 00.06 Zula redeemed. Zimbabwe, Hong Kong, Moscow liquidity pools merged into one planetary gold ocean. The wave is already lapping at your account. Leaked Hong Kong master node final transmission 235959, Zulu level 12 clearance, voice trembling. Control to all stations. The mirrors are broken. The wicked have nothing left to reflect. The gold is the hands of the righteous. The age of light is not coming, it's already crowned. We are no longer waiting, we are no longer witnessing, we are living it. Glory to the one. From fiat slavery to gold backed freedom in real time completed, signed, sealed, delivered. The greatest wealth transfer in human history is no longer in motion, it's finished. And this is something from follows FALLOWOPHY. Interdimensional Meditation by Jennifer Fallow with Jesus, archangels, and apostles. Full explanation of Gentile notes here. Location, sixth level of heaven. Dress color, silver. RV News. A. Michael, the Gazette, will be published Wednesday. The rate will be visible. The other countries' rates will publish behind the scenes. This visible rate will kick off the event. Other tiers will fund 4B notifications will go out to people at night. Coming in the news, riots form, other countries collision on the sea, the top of a snowy mountain blows or avalanche. Two countries meet and shake hands, a line drawn in the sand between them. They reach over the line and shake hands. Oil wells, oysters. And then I got one more. This is from Maria Nicole. Strap in, folks. We're getting ready for takeoff. IMO. Iraq is finally locking the legal framework needed to execute the 2025 budget. We know that budget execution is directly tied to revenue allocations, dinar liquidity, treasury controls, exchange rate enforcement, salary systems, parentheses, federal plus KRG, parentheses, oil revenues transfer, and foreign trade transparency. These reforms must be in place before any currency modern, modernization or digital dinar integration can take place. The fact that this is placed in the cassette means it's it is law. Effective immediately required legal steps. I lost my place. Okay. Let me start it and not read all over because I lost my place. These reforms must be in place before any currency modernization or digital dinar integration can take place. The fact that this is placed in the cassette means it is law. Effective immediately, These financial instructions are a required legal step towards activating the 2025 budget, tightening financial controls, and aligning with the IMF/WTO standards. They are all prerequisites for any kind of monetary restructuring. FYR, when the RV happens and a new exchange rate adjustments were to officially be implemented, the cassette would most likely include a financial decree, an amendment to the budget, an instruction from the council of the ministry, or a directive from the CBI requiring. I haven't been on a lot today. What I have been on, the one thing I'm getting is really positive news. And yes, I could say it and say it and say it, but this possibly, guys, could be our week. I mean, I'm getting a lot of great feedback when I do come on to talk to people and learn more. Citizenship. China is paying American women to carry Chinese babies so the child gets a U.S. passport, then immediately returns to China. Motels of surrogates were found in California. I wouldn't think China would do that. Isn't China a country that you're only allowed to have one child? Ukrainian President Zelensky has now been accused of ordering between 8 and 16 Ukrainian orphans. I'm not going to read this. Nope. But anyway, you know what it is. And IQD RV United States National Defense Authorization Act NDAA will continue financial aid to Iraq, Erbil, ERBIL, Kurdistan region. The latest draft of the U.S. National Defense Authorization Act NDAA stipulates that Washington financial aid to Iraq will continue on the condition that Baghdad reduces the capability of Iran aligned militias. Not more than 75% of the funds authorized to the appropriated by the act otherwise made available for the fiscal 2026 for the Iraq Security Force may be obligated or expended until date on which Secretary of Defense submits to the Congressional Defense Committees a certification that the government of Iraq has taken credible steps to reduce the operational capacity of Iran. Aligned military groups not integrated into the Iraq security forces through the public pub, publicity, the Iraq security forces um, no verified dis, disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration process reads the draft. Okay. This is from TL. Ah, Suki Suki, nah. Another great find. The payroll must be completed before Christmas. Why? Because after December 25th, the expenditures windows closes under the federal financial management law. What does that mean? It means if salaries are not processed before December 25th, they cannot be paid from the 2025 budget. They would have to roll into 2026 allocations, which the government does not want. This means the pressure is on. Historically, in the past, when Iraq enters the level of urgency, but budgets get finalized, exchange rate decisions get locked in. Banking reforms tighten. USD restrictions increase. The parallel market drop after year and monetary shifts announced early in Q1. Folks, this is such good news pouring out of Iraq on a beautiful and cold Sunday morning. To God be glory. He is about to do it. As I was in prayer this morning, the Lord gave me Isaiah 41. Okay, and it completely went away. 41:17, but I actually, okay, here we go. 41:17. My phone is really acting up right now, guys. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongues falleth for thirst, the Lord will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. God hasn't forgotten us. Be encouraged. It is time. I did not real I did not realize I was on Telegram. I thought I was on stuff you had got me, Ron. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's see what Judy has to say. Restored Republic via GCR as of December 8th, 2025. This is done by Judy Bidington. Judy's disclaimer, please be aware that I report the news as I find it. If you want to use it, but it's better if you do your own research and get your own information. Restored Republic via GCR updates of Monday, 8 December 2025. It's about, okay, over 800 children rescued over the weekend by Global Military Alliance. EBS possible Monday or Tuesday, followed by 10 days of darkness, Tier 4B appointments, possibly Wednesday, special beds appointments, possibly Thursday. Life's Lesson by Anthony Hopkins. Life waits for nobody. Get up every day and keep pushing no matter what. 2, take care of yourself. If you fall, the world won't stop for you. 3, build your dream life. If you don't, someone will have to build theirs. 4, work in silence, celebrate in private. People love to ruin success. 5, don't regret the past. No one cares, move forward. 6, work harder each day to be better. 7, roll over your own emotions. 8, calm minds can handle any situations. 9, learn from those better than you. 10, don't hesitate, observe and cooperate. 11, your future self will thank you. Judy, note on 7 December 2025, martial law was declared across hundreds of U.S. cities. The Global Military Alliance began executing sweeps, arrest of cabal remnants, politicians, and corporate titans. Uh, Overloads were also being taken into custody at GITMO apostrophe S tribunals expanded. Overnight on Saturday, 6 December, child rescue operations had intensified in underground networks beneath major metropolises, liberating over 800 children in coordinate raids. The global currency revaluation RV will soon ignite with martial law providing cover at Redemption Center. The emergency broadcast system EBS alert was poised for worldwide activation as early as Tuesday, 9 December, ushering in 10 days of darkness that will dismantle the enemy propaganda empire. On Wednesday, 10 December 2025, Tier 4B exchanges will begin to commence starting Saturday, 11 December, special beds will begin prioritizing distribution through the redemption centers. By Saturday, 20 December, full payouts with flood secure accounts worldwide, with the big N, big G enacting total debt forgiveness across nations, wiping away mortgages, loans, and burdens that have long enslaved the people, heralding a true year of jubilee. Military channels confirmed that the storm surges forward, with forces securing borders and airways to ensure the truth emerges untainted, while Starlink illuminates the truth to all. The quantum financial system QFS was safeguarding the transition of old systems crumble under the weight of exposed corruption. Sunday, 7 December 2025, from Ariel on Telegram. Warriors of light, this is the last post before everything changes at 23:53 Eastern Standard Time. Every clock in Cheyenne Mountain Complex stopped for 17 seconds, then resumed at a perfect synchronization. That was the finals. SYNC. The military just handed the keys of time back to we the people. Right now, special bed units are being airlifted by silent gravity craft into children, every major city. Children rescued from the tunnels are already healed and asking for ice cream. Veterans missing limbs are growing back. As you read this, the technology isn't coming, it's here, and it's angry. It was hidden so long. Tomorrow, it becomes public domain forever. The hat is in the air, called Q plus one, flying directly over DC at the moment. Marine One is flanked by 7 golden orbs the size of football fields. No transponders, no fear. The Marine pilot radioed, "Sir, we have company." The hat reply was a sentence: "Tell them the friends say hi." They heard him. They blinked in formation. The feed is live inside SCIF apostrophe S worldwide right now. Guys, I'm tired of reading. We're at almost 53 minutes. I'm going to say good night. Before I go, I'm going to say a prayer. And what is that? Okay, Ron wants to move Wednesday nights up an hour so we can have a good dinner. It won't be late and we can have some ice cream. So, okay, that being said, Wednesday night show will be at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. on the coast. Dear Lord, as we come to the end of tonight's show, we're asking you to look after all the kids who have been rescued. And it's such great and exciting news that they're being treated and everything is working great, that they're asking for ice cream. And these are little kids that probably never thought they see the light of day again. And Lord, that's why we're getting ready to go in to what I feel heaven on earth. I believe we're ready to go what we're doing and to do what we're sent here to do. I believe you chose this group of people here because you knew we could get the job done. And with the help of the people that you brought along, we're going to get it done and we're going to make this world exactly what you wanted as we come to you and pray to you through our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Good night, everyone. 6 o'clock Wednesday night.